Gravity, keeping us on the ground. This is my presentation for Earth Science A. So you probably know the story. Isaac Newton was sitting under an apple tree when an apple comes down and falls on his head, and he's like, "Eureka! It's gravity!" Okay, so maybe that's not an entirely factual story, and I don't know exactly how it went. But really, what's the point of gravity? Why do we have it, and how does it work? So, I'd like to tell you about a man whose name is Galileo. Maybe you've heard of him. He's a pretty famous mathematician and scientist. So, Galileo climbed to the top of a building, and it's the Tower of Pisa. Maybe you've heard of that too. And he had two balls. And one was a smaller ball, and one was quite a bit heavier. So, there were these two balls, and people predicted that the ball that was heavier would fall down faster because it was heavier, right? But in reality, when he dropped them, they fell down at the exact same rate and landed on the ground at the exact same time. Now, why is this? It's because gravity pulls down at the same rate. Gravity is pulling downward at the same time, the same speed, always. At least we assume. And so they got pulled down at the same time. You could do this with any object at home. You could take an orange and a penny and they'll land on the ground at the same time, as long as you drop them at the exact same time. So, gravity isn't just pulling down, though. It's pulling towards the center of the Earth. So, no matter where you're standing on the Earth, you're going to be pulled towards the center of the Earth. And so it's going to feel like you're just normal, even if you're on the bottom of the Earth, because you're being pulled towards the center of the Earth. And, your blood's being pulled downward, and so gravity is doing its job. That's why you don't fall off the bottom of the Earth. Also, if you had a ball, it's going to be pulled towards the Earth the same, no matter where it is on the side of the Earth, the bottom of the Earth, the top of the Earth, the front of the Earth, the back of the Earth, whatever. It's going to be pulled the same way as you. So instead of falling downward, it's falling toward the center of the Earth. And so, why is gravity so important? What would happen if we didn't have gravity? The Earth would become lopsided because gravity is holding the Earth together and it's holding it towards the center. So it's pulling everything towards the center and it makes it a perfect or nearly perfect sphere. So without it, the Earth would be lopsided. So we know the Earth has a gravitational pull. The Moon also has a gravitational pull, although it is lighter than the Earth's. And so the Earth is pulling the Moon towards it, and the Moon is pulling the Earth towards the Moon. And so they're pulling against each other, like this tug of war that's going on. And so that's why the Moon doesn't come any closer to the Earth, and the Earth doesn't come any closer to the Moon, and the Moon is propelled to orbit around the Earth because of the gravitational pulls. That's why it orbits. So, when you trip, next time you trip and fall, or you see someone else do it, remember, you're not falling downwards. You're falling towards the center of the Earth. And why else is this important? Because everything else is also being pulled towards the center of the Earth. Water is being pulled towards the center of the Earth, and air, and all that stuff. So without gravity, the water would float away, our food would float away, and we wouldn't really have anything. And then we would float away eventually too. So that's why gravity is so important. I'd like to give a big shout out to ClipArt and Google Images for the resources, and thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.